Holy crap, guys. As much as I want to work on the Suburban, I gotta get going back on this crew cab. So we're finally going back on this thing today. Let's go figure out what we need to do. But first, check out these I got for it. Now they're set of 40s, even though they sit about the same height as the 38s. Got them for super cheap. First thing you'll probably notice, wrong bolt pattern. These wheels are no good for them, but they are 15s, so they will fit my nice chrome ones. So I'll just have to swap them over, and then I think I'll clean up these wheels and try to sell them. Which, the problem I noticed with that, as soon as I started bringing these home, is that one's different than the rest. I got 3 like this with the 8 spoke, and 1 like that with the 5 spoke. But I should still be able to clean them up, powder coat them or paint them, and go from there. These are kind of bald. I mean, by kind of, I mean really. They're right down to the wear lines. I'm okay with that though, because I got them for super cheap, and they're just to kind of fit the truck, just to sell it. I kind of noticed that with vehicles, if you're looking for a little tip to sell something that's a big lifted truck, have some big tires on it. Don't have it on the dinky tires. People think it looks stupid and they tend to not buy it. Even if they're big bald tires, they can see the potential and the sheer size of it. It changes the size and the whole look. So I try to put some on. And a couple other things with these, they could be re-grooved. I could take these lugs out. I could cut this down, take out every other lug here or something. They're super swampers. There's lots of ways to cut super swampers. I've never actually cut tires before, but I've seen a lot of it done. So maybe that's something that these hold in the future. Another thing is also, if you remember, this is just a Dana 44, and it's a very heavy truck with a torquey motor. So I don't want lots of grip, at least not in the front. So actually, normally, I don't know how true this is, but I've always been told you want your best tires on the front. Normally, that's how I roll, but with these, I think I'll pick the baldest 2 and put them on the front so it doesn't grab as much there. I want as much traction on that 14 bolt as I can get, and kind of minimal traction on the Dana 44. So I'm kind of thinking for selling wise of the truck and functionality wise if I keep the truck. These aren't really cracked, except one, of course, the one I'm looking at. I haven't seen any cracks on any of them, so they should be okay for the road, except for this one. It's got this nice, horrible crack here. It's on the back too, so I think this one was flat at some point. Other than that, they're pretty good, and apparently they hold air. I think that one's flat right now. You can see kind of flat on the top, and these ones are round out. But it is what it is. If I do drive this on the road, I'll maybe put that on the right rear. Hopefully have some better tires by then, if I keep this. But for now, got to swap these over and got to get the truck back together. I'm going to move these out of the way, and then we'll figure out a list of things I got to do on this pile to get it going. Or probably not even going, just at least somewhat together, a little more sellable. Well, she's a long list, and that's not even all of it. That's just kind of what I want to get done here in the near future. And that's not even to get it running or driving on the road. That's not even get it the tow truck part. That's just step 1, I guess. At the rear of the truck, we got to do shocks, but first we got to do the shock mounts. They're the wrong way on the axle. We got to still drill all the holes for all the brackets that hold the leaf springs on. I do brake lines, and then kind of paint all the brackets and maybe even the diff, we'll see. Front axle, again, shocks. I gotta fix that crack. We got to straighten that frame rail, which will be done once more of the truck's put together and I can roll it outside. We got to do the steering. It's still two-wheel drive box, and as you can see, it's not connected. The carrier, that probably won't get done for a long time because I need some money for that, and I don't have any. And then brake lines. The engine, I gotta do the throttle linkage, air cleaner mount, belt bracket, paint, because all that's crappy. I like to clean it up. We gotta do the serpentine belts, we gotta do all the wiring, gotta do the gauges, fuel lines, and then we might be able to fire it up after that. So we might get this running, we might not for now, I'm not sure. It's still really cold in here for a cam break-in, so probably not yet. And then for the body, so I gotta do the body lift. I gotta get all the crap out of the box. I gotta get all the crap out of the cab. Mirrors. I'm gonna install the whole front clip so the truck's complete. And then put on the 40s I just showed you at the beginning of this. So we got a lot to do. I guess let's pick one thing and get going. First thing on the list I think I'm gonna try to do, steering box. Shouldn't be too bad. It's 4 bolts, 3 or 4 in the frame, and 2 on the rag joint. A lot of times these ones have given me trouble, and then should just be drop that off, bolt the new one on. Oh, new, bolt it on, run it into there, and it should be good in theory. Came apart nicely without really any issue. I had to tap on the one bolt with a hammer to let it go, but other than that, it came out nice and gentle. I touched this up with some rocker guards so it can match the rest of the frame. When I get closer to being all finished with this, I'll touch up the front of this again. So while that's drying, I'm painting the steering box outside to keep fumes in here minimal. And while that's drying too, I think I'm gonna start working on the front end. I need to unbolt these again so I can paint them and fix that one. I could do it on the truck, but I'd rather take them off and paint them because then it looks nice on the inside and stuff. And it's less likely to rust. Plus I gotta redo all these nuts anyways with the nylocks. So might as well just do it all in one. New box is in. It looks so much better than that pile of crap there. I did have to switch the rag joint though. Now I understand why those bolts are not undone and they cut here on the column. Because I could not get those off without stripping them out. So I decided it's only one bolt and then you can take that off, and it's actually a lot easier than doing the rag joint bolts. I should have just done it that way. Plus the rag joint from this truck was in a lot better shape anyway, so worked out for the best. I have not put this on yet. It's kind of hard to get it on there, but I'm not going to fight with it or take this off and fight with it or anything because I still got to do the body lift, which brings this 3 inches higher. So it's about 3 inches lower right now. I'll raise it up and then I'll have the movement in there. I can tuck it in, put it in. But for now, it'll just sit there like that. I gotta take this one off because this one is crap, as you can see. And I have another one right there. Oh, actually, sorry, that's the one on that steering box. I have another one right there that we'll put on. Well, that's all connected now. Don't forget your cotter pins. Now before anybody says, oh, why didn't you keep the two-wheel drive one and do a crossover? That is the better way to go. Everybody actually wants to put the two-wheel drive boxes in their four-wheel drive so they can do the crossover, because the pitman arm is back here and shoves it this way and this way, not over here going this way and this way. This one was already set up like this. Crossover steering is expensive, and I'm not going for a super fancy rig or anything. There's nothing wrong with this. I know it causes a little bump, steer and stuff, but for me, that's fine. I don't really care. And plus, I'm on a tight budget. It is kind of whatever I have in the garage is what I'm using for the truck. So, but there it is. We have steering. And I know it's not completely done because I still need hoses and I still got to connect that. But I'm going to count that. I'm going to count that done. 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 Well, I guess next step with this thing is to clean those up to paint them. This one, I gotta grind down a few little places where I marred it trying to get it off the donor truck frame. But that shouldn't be too bad. And then I'll paint that. And this one, still gotta fix that. What we'll do is we'll drill a hole right at the end of it to stop the crack. Then I'll cut this out with a zip disc, try to get a little bit more penetration in there with the weld. And then we'll run my welder on it, even though my welder's still not fully functional. But should be fine enough for that. There, that looks a lot better. While that one's drying, let's go fix the other one. Zip the line right through it, except for right there. Right there's not all the way through because I didn't want to dig all the way up here or all the way down there. Should be okay. So I really got to start leaving my helmets inside. Left them out over winter. Both of them are dead. So I got to weld it with the helmet not dimming, which was fun, especially with a welder that's not working properly. So I think I did all right. My eyes still haven't adjusted from welding it without a dimming helmet. So you guys are going to have to let me know how I did. Can't even tell that there was a crack. I'll wire wheel this off, clean it all up nice. And then paint it just like the other one. And I should really stop using this as a workbench. These were nice and painted if you remember previous episodes. So while the other parts are sitting outside drying in the sun, I might as well paint this up too. The sand. Jack handle all over sprayed while I'm at it. A little more there. There, clean again. While waiting for all the paint to dry for this stuff, I took all that apart. It's all there, and there, and under there, and over there. Because if you haven't figured out yet, I've got like major ADD that's not medicated. Never been to the doctor for it, but I mean, can't really argue that I have it. But anyways, yeah, most of this I'll paint. Some of it I won't. Like that, I'll just clean that up. There's a little bracket that goes in here. It's over here, that thing. It looks like I can just kind of clean that up. Paint everything out. Back on and looking good on both sides. And I just put the truck on these blocks so it's sitting all level. Which, with it sitting level, steering angle is nice. I'm happy with that. Might need to be a little shorter. It's turning a little that way, although that might be just the way it's sitting. I'll have to check that all out once I get the steering wheel connected. I'd like the steering wheel to sit straight when the tires are straight, obviously. Now, another reason why I wanted it to sit all level but on its weight without the tires here, so we can measure for some shocks and get them in there. Normally you'd cycle through the whole suspension and measure the shortest and the longest, but I'm just going to, since I got a whole bunch of different lengths of shocks, I'm just going to measure this length and then find a set that's kind of in the medium range of them. So they got some compression and some expansion, and then we'll clean them up, maybe paint them, maybe take that one off, clean it up and paint it, and then we'll put those back in, and then front's getting there.